Most people, including me, do not enjoy practice, even when practicing something they really want to learn. For me, that would be golf and guitar. However, reality and research informs us that there is no other way to learn how to do something well without practicing it. Thus, it makes sense that we use practice strategies that are the most effective for retention, both short and long term. Unfortunately, many of the practice methods we learned earlier in our lives are not the most effective. In my last entry, I briefly introduced 4 effective practice strategies. The first one, and the topic of this entry, is distributed practice. Distributed practice is the process of completing shorter practice sessions that are spaced out over time. This is in contrast to the often used strategy of massed practice, where content is practiced in one large session either immediately after learning a skill or right before an exam. Research comparing distributed practice and massed practice has shown that massed practice is more effective for short-term memory. However, distributed practice is twice as effective than massed practice for long-term memory, sometimes up to several years. And keep in mind, you don't have to study any longer when using distributed practice to get the additional bonus of remembering things longer. To further illustrate what distributed practice looks like, take a look at the figure below. The process starts after you have learned to perform the skill with some accuracy. Sometimes it may help to do a massed practice session first. After that, you wait a week and then practice for 10 minutes and repeat a couple more times until a week before the exam or quiz. Remember, this is an example. How many distributed practice sessions and the length of time between them will depend on the length of time until you want to become accurate and fluent in the skill. Some suggest the length of time between sessions should be about 20% of the time between initial learning and when you will be assessed. For example, if you have 20 days until an exam, your sessions will be about 4 days apart. So why does distributed practice work? The answer is in the title of this entry. Forgetting helps remembering. Basically, because there is time between practice sessions, you will probably forget a little bit of what is being studied. This will require you to figure out and think about what you did incorrectly or struggled with, and fix it. This process helps you better remember and understand what you studied, and typically, the mistakes will continue decreasing as you move from session to session. Brought to you by Potentia Institute.